Yeah.
Yes.
Don't think about it. Go do it
Right.
because
And I've been
that's
thinking about it. So this is the funny thing. Like we talk about these whispers, and you know how some people say, God had me say this, and God spoke to me. I still haven't had the excuse me, Brad. This is God talking.
I
You need
haven't
to listen to
either.
me. Yeah, I haven't had that. But the more these thoughts are popping into my head, I think this is just it's the calling to be able to answer these.
So many people are so selfish in this world of it's just about them, and the world society has been created that way to where it's all about self-fulfillment rather than helping others, love thy neighbor, giving back, doing things to boost people up, and just doing it because you want to be there to help. And that's one thing I've seen with you over the years of knowing you is you've always been willing to help.
If you truly want to be successful, you must be willing to help as many people without expecting anything in return. Do things for others who will never be able to repay you. There's so much strength in that. Like if you truly want to be successful, you must be willing to do things for other people who can never, ever repay you. It's not about a transaction. It's not about I do for you. And we live in this society right now where it's, what's in it for me? After I got out of prison, well, first off, when I was in prison, fitness is what saved me. My purpose is changing lives through fitness. This is what I do. This is what I do. This is who Brad Modrich is. I've always been the gym guy. It's what I do. That's my purpose, like changing lives through getting people to understand that their body is this one thing that they have to take care of. There's such a responsibility for it. But the crazy part is everything that we talk about fitness, everything that we talk about personal development, they're one and the same. Think about a fitness journey. In the beginning, you're deconditioned, you're overweight, you're out of shape. You help someone build the belief that they can get it. And it's this one foot in front of the other mindset. And you teach them these techniques that they can start to change the physiology of their body, and they start to change their body, and this amazing things happen. They start changing their mind. Now their physical and their mental are kind of working together, and it's just this, it's kind of like the Holy Spirit, right? It's the Trinity, right? You get this mind and body, and then they start changing like who they are, and these amazing things have happened through fitness.
Welcome to The
It's
Real
recording.
Build. I'm your host, Bill Reiman, your broker builder. And today I got a very special guest on with me. I've been looking forward to this now that we relaunched the show. I'm able to have people like this gentleman on. He's a friend. He's like a brother to me. Him and I have got to know each other through the Arte Syndicate over the past 5 years, since we've both been in it since day one. He's a husband, a father. He's a coach. He's a leader. He's the CFO of Just Aesthetic Nursing and Med Spa, co-founder of Trifecta Credit Solutions, founder of Conflict, co-owner of Bright State Solar, certified personal trainer. He's with me in Warriors for Christ, which we love that group. We'll get into that a little bit. He's a former Marine. Thank you for your service. That first and foremost, that's the most important thing too. And also a man of God, Brad Modrich. Welcome to The Real Build, brother. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. First off, I'm so excited to be on here. I've been watching, have all your contractor guys on and the dudes in construction. And I even used to say, damn, man, I wish I built some stuff. So I'm super excited to be on, man. And I just got to quick make a note, you know, because we've been together for over 5 years. I have, first off, I'm honored to be by your side. I've been able to watch you grow as just not only as an entrepreneur, but growing to becoming a father. I know this is a huge milestone in your life, and getting married and watching you and Elizabeth's life get together. And man, I'm just grateful to be by your side, bro. And I said this before. You will be building Jan and I a dream home down in Florida at some point in our life. It's gonna happen.
I love it, man. I appreciate having you on too, man. You've been a big part of my life the last 5 years. You and I have gotten to know each other really well, and it's been awesome, man. You've helped me with a lot in a lot of different ways. I've reached out to you randomly on those calls about, fatherhood and how to deal with my wife and all certain kinds of things you can, and you've been there for me, man. So I got a great respect for you and our friendship too. And I'm glad, man. I'm happy that we did this relaunch so I can have people like yourself that are just dominating business, and you're obviously running quite a few businesses, which we'll get into. But before we get into that, let's talk about you. Who is Brad Modrich? Tell your story a little bit.
Oh man, that's man. This has changed over the years, and it's part of evolution. And I think sometimes people try to um, they try to make this image of what they think they are, who they are. And at this stage and at this part of the journey, man, I'm a simple man. I am a simple man. I love my family. I adore my wife and kids. The my background is fitness. Like there's
Mhm.
no question about it. We're talking, we talked last night on Warriors for Christ, and this has been in my mind so much lately. Like, who is Brad Modrich? Man, it's a lot of people ask themselves that question, like, who am I? What am I doing? Who am I? And before, when I would be asked this story, I'd be like a knucklehead kid from the east side of Allentown. Right. I grew up in Allentown, single mom, my two sisters. Um, and I used to edify that as who I was. And the great part about personal development is you're not your past.
Mm.
That's not who I am. I am not a knucklehead. And I used to say this, I'd be, oh, knucklehead kid from the east side of Allentown. But the reality of it is I'm a guy who loves fitness, and I believe in I believe in changing people's life through fitness. That's always been what I've done. Um, it's getting a lot simpler as I get older. Um, the value is in the relationships and not the transactions. The value is in seeing other people win. The value of who this man is that I want to become is just to be able to serve. This morning last night we talked about what our purpose is, and what we want to do as warriors for Christ. But the reality of it is I think this is what we've been doing the whole time. We build other people up. We're there for each other. We're just men that are just trying to get better one day at a time, and that's who I am. And I'm still working on it. Every day it's a work. It's a work in progress, and it's not like all bad. Like it's all good. But who Brad is today, he's definitely not the man he used to be. But I'm just finding simplicity in my life right now, even though it's getting crazy complex and you hear all those titles and just aesthetic and all these businesses. The reality of it is I'm just like every other man. I'm simple. I want to do good business. I want to do good by people. Let me rephrase that. I do good by people, and I do good things for people, and I do serve. And that's who I am, man. I love connecting people like you. And I can't stop thinking about our warriors for Christ and what we do and what we represent. It's so much unlike any other group or mastermind or you know um, group that's out there, networking group, because it's rooted in really, bro, it's rooted just obviously our faith in God, but we're just going at life together, bro, and we're winning. That's
Yeah.
it. We're
Yeah.
winning together. We're all winning. And it's because of how we serve, and it's because of what we do, and it's because of our mindset. That's who Brad Modrich is. That's who he is. That's what he does. That's what I love to do it, man. It fills my cup every day to be able to pour into other people. And the foundation of how I've always done that has been through fitness.
Hmm. I love what you just said there. And one thing I wrote down too is your present and your future version of yourself shape your identity. You know, a lot of people shape their identity based off their past, but you just said you don't do that. And you're currently shaping your purpose with the present Brad, with the future Brad, of all the things that you're doing currently right now. You're not thinking about the past. You're not saying, well, this is me. This is who I was in the past. So that's my identity. No, you've reshaped it. You've restructured your identity into somebody that is helping so many different people. And you might not realize even how many people you're helping. I know you coach certain people too, but there's other people probably on the outside that's watching Brad Modrich on social media, and those little daily little jolts that you give in your stories and everything of just keep going, even though you've been through a lot in your life through the past, but you're living in the present and you're going into the future. And finding purpose, you're shaping that purpose daily, right? You're creating a purpose for yourself. I mean, you may not fully understand what that is. I don't think I do. You know, I just started coaching high school football, volunteering doing it, like just because
How's
I
that
want to.
been going?
It's
How's that?
on top of everything else, man. I'm like you. I just keep going. I keep
Just
going,
keep
and I just
stacking it.
just keep stacking those things, man. And we I did spring football. Just wrapped up a couple weeks ago now, and they're in summer now. But it was one of the most fulfilling things that I did, just getting out there and helping those kids and like talking to them about leadership. Those kids have never been talked to about being leaders. Like, and one of the kids on the team, I can tell he's a leader. He didn't know it, but when I was done with him, he became the leader of the defense. And
Mm,
you can see that, and like it gave me chills. Like when he ran out, he was hyping kids up, he was calling the plays, he's moving kids around, telling them how to, position themselves, talking to them, not yelling at them, like turning somebody into a leader that didn't even know he was. And this kid's just gonna he's a junior. He's just becoming a junior. Like there's so much growth there too into his potential into going to play college football.
that's
So
what's
it's
up.
just like that fulfillment, man, like that became part of my purpose. I didn't know it was going to be. I didn't know I can fit that in. Liz sees how happy I am, going out there and coaching those kids. It's a lot. I ran myself down big time. I was sick for I think I had some kind of virus for a while because of being so run down with all the different things, but I still did it. I didn't complain. I didn't, I just kept going. So that's like what I'm getting at with you is, that purpose of Brad Modrich is still being shaped today.
It is. It for sure is every day. Just adding and stacking and just making little adjustments. I think the word I use a lot with my clients is just intentional focus. Just intentionally focusing on little just small moves, man. And coming from a fitness background, it's we always talk about proper form, right? And the proper form doing exercises, and it's the same thing. You can make these small little tweaks to what you're doing, and again to what you're thinking, because this is a huge part. I think that we talk about mental health, and right now it's needed even more because there's just so much negative out there, with what's going on in the country, what's going on, in our communities. There, the left, the right, the this, the that. There's just we are overloaded with just negativity. So we have to be that source. We have to be that lighthouse that is just constantly focusing on being positive and best case scenario. And I know it's a very optimistic kind of foofy way to look at it. And there's some that debate like you got to stay ready and you got to be ready. Like really, what are you going to do if something happens? Like
Mm.
the reality of it. Like what are you really going to do? I can only focus on my family and just making sure that my immediate family and my sisters and their kids, they're safe. That's all I can do. And just continue to lead by showing them that it can be done. And I think, right now, we see these people that, especially in our circle, that love to show the highlight reels about everything that they're doing, but they're not really willing to do the down and dirty work and talk about that. It's real, like it's out there, but we have to be so proactive in focusing on the solutions. And even though we are uncommon, like how we think, like we're not like most people, uh, it's our ability to teach and show people what that thought process looks like. Like I had a young man that's working for me right now yesterday. Again, just like you on the football field, had no leadership. Now this is a guy who was even in the army. He was in the army. He had leadership when he was there, so he was able to do what he was supposed to do under that leadership. But then when he comes into real world, like practical life skills, some of these young men don't have, and they need it. They need to be shown, and it is a very time consuming, tedious task. And that's where we drop the ball because most people don't feel like taking the time to teach our youth, to teach our young men how to be men, to teach our young ladies how to be ladies, because it requires effort, right? I think I read a study the one time about kinetic energy and a positive charge versus a negative charge, and just thinking energy, right? The force that a negative charge has is greater than a positive charge. And what I mean by that is they measured this kinetic energy when something negative happens, it overwhelms and consumes. It has so much energy that it can kind of take over whatever that is. Where being positive, it requires more effort to get the expansion of that energy. Like to be positive, it requires more work. And this is why most people don't do it, because it's easy to be negative. It's easy to just shut things off. It's easy to be mediocre. And we need leaders right now, man. Right now, bro, like us. Like everything that you're doing, everything that we're doing, the Warriors for Christ. This is how we fix it. It's not by what we show on social media. It's about what we're doing in our communities. Like you're taking kids under like coaching football, building houses, real estate. Now you're going to throw football into that just because no one does that, especially and I mean this from just a respectful way, especially at your level.
Mm.
At your level, you're still going out to lead. This is what we need.
Yeah, man. One thing that you said too was about the overload of negativity in this world. And first thing that came to my mind is the overload of selfishness in this
Mhm.
world. Uh, it's all about me, me, me. It's all about oneself. It's all about just that specific person. And going back to yourself and how what fills your cup is helping people too. There needs to be more of that. Like the discussion, like I just said, helping kids, just volunteering to do that, make new leaders, create, just be there for them because a lot of these kids don't have a father figure in their lives. They're just sent to school and school's kind of where they go and then they go home and they're on their own and that's it. They got nothing else besides school and football. And it's like so many people are so selfish in this world of it's just about them, and the world society has been created that way to where it's all about self-fulfillment rather than helping others, love thy neighbor, giving back, doing things to boost people up, and just doing it because you want to be there to help. And that's one thing I've seen with you over the years of knowing you is you've always been willing to help. You've always been willing to pick up the phone. You'll make time for people just to be there for them. So talk about that because going back to purpose too and your purpose in life, I think that's become part of your purpose is helping others, right? I think that's what God put you here to do with all your businesses too. You're building all these businesses, but those businesses aren't just about Brad. They're about helping others. You just started a solar company. And I know you're really good at building businesses and you have partners in that too. Just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's so I wrote a book in 2019 uh with a guy I did some business with. And in the opening, the first, I don't know what it's called, like when I write like my little message, like in the page one, usually
Yeah.
like dedicated to someone,
Yeah. The
I
dedication
the
or preface.
dedication,
Yeah. Dedication
I
preface.
put a statement in there, and I literally just posted this on my story the other day, and it said, if you truly want to be successful, you must be willing to help as many people without expecting anything in return. Do things for others who will never be able to repay you.
Hmm.
There's so much strength in that. Like, if you truly want to be successful, you must be willing to do things for other people who can never, ever repay you. It's not about a transaction. It's not about I do for you. And we live in this society right now where it's, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? And that's where we got to. But I think about, and I've been thinking about a lot. I've been thinking about this a lot lately, Bill. You know, after I got out of prison, well, first off, when I was in prison, fitness is what saved me. I was a little meathead before I went in, using all kinds of steroids before I went into prison. So like I was in the gym, but it was kind of like I joke with people. We were the first Jersey Shore. We were the first gym tan laundry. Like we were doing that back in the 90s, bro. And fist pumping. Like that was us. And it's so funny. I remember watching Jersey Shore and I'm like, yo, these guys are doing what we were doing back like 8, 9 years ago, 10 years ago. So prior to fit, going into prison, I was into fitness, and then in prison is really when I went down because there was a point in time where I was like, I will never be in prison again. Like there was just this moment, something happened with this guy. I got dropped on the compound, and he was like, "Is this what you want to do for the rest of your life?" And I remember it was like someone took the air out of my lungs, and I was like, "There's no freaking way. Like I am not supposed to be in prison. Like I should not. I shouldn't be here. Like what the hell?" Um, so I remember I went up into the admin, and I started taking all kinds of classes. Started taking a personal training class. And the crazy part about it is, in prison, I became the gym guy. We had a gym on the compound, and I volunteered. I would clean the gym up. I would re-rack weights. I started doing workout programs for people, and what that did for me, right? Talk about networking. What that did for me in prison was fitness was the first thing that I was able to see. I can talk to anybody. There was no, um, there was no prejudice. There was no like black or white or Islamic or Christian or white or this. Like fitness was the first thing where I remember sitting there on the gym floor in prison and just looking at all the different types of people. There was Jamaican, black, and I'm sitting here, this, what appears to be like white boy Roy here, sitting with all of these guys writing out meal plans. And I immediately got street cred, and I became the gym guy. Like, yo, Modrich, can you write out a workout program for me? And that's what I did. That's what I became. And then when I got out, I got a job as a trainer and immediately fell in love with fitness. Like, fell in love with it. And fast forward in around 2017, my wife got into aesthetics, and there had to be a point where I had to become like the I had to take care of the home, right? There was an exchange where she became the breadwinner, and I had to fall back and take second, right? Natalie was still in high school. I had to go home and be like, I went from working in a corporate job into being like Susie Homemaker. And that was tough. So, but as we were building this, as we were building just aesthetic nursing from behind, and I was very systematic with, the financials and making sure everything was kind of set up properly. We built this company for my wife, and it's her dream, it's her passion. She loves it. Then fast forward, the pandemic comes, and that's when we launched Trifecta Credit Solutions. When we launched Trifecta Credit Solutions, we uh, we did it at a time where my two partners, Mike and Dave, um, they were adamant about credit repair. And I even remember I just remember we're going to be able to help people. And this was literally smack dab in quarantine when we launched this. And I'm getting to the point of the purpose. So we built this great credit repair company, that does good by people. It's affordable, has great value. And then, I'm working both of these companies. I'm working credit repair. I'm working the back end of the med spa. My wife is just destroying it. And everything is just going really, really, really well. And then fast forward last year, my best friend comes to me, and we had this idea for a solar company. And and we're on this venture with this solar company, and he loves solar. He loves it. He absolutely loves everything about solar. You could see, like, I watch him come to life. It was the same light that came to life when my wife was building it, and I'm seeing her in her element. Same thing that I seen with Dave, and I seen Dave and all of his excitement, right? And Mike, and we were doing really well. And I'm sitting here, and this is just we're talking about purpose and warriors for Christ. And I'm sitting here, and I'm down with my buddy in Fusion Gyms and watching him build this gym, and it hit me like my purpose is changing lives through fitness. This is what I do. This is what I do. This is who Brad Modrich is. I've always been the gym guy. It's what I do. That's my purpose, like changing lives through getting people to understand that their body is this one thing that they have to take care of. There's such a responsibility for it. But the crazy part is everything that we talk about fitness, everything that we talk about personal development, they're one and the same. Think about a fitness journey. In the beginning, you're deconditioned, you're overweight, you're out of shape. You help someone build the belief that they can get it. And it's this one foot in front of the other mindset. And you teach them these techniques that they can start to change the physiology of their body, and they start to change their body, and this amazing things happen. They start changing their mind. Now their physical and their mental are kind of working together, and it's just this, it's kind of like the Holy Spirit, right? It's the Trinity, right? You get this mind and body, and then they start changing like who they are. And these amazing things have happened through fitness. And I love getting people to that point. There is no question about it. My purpose is to really change people's lives through fitness and getting them to really understand how important your health is. You know, I love watching you build homes, especially your homes. But the reality of it is what you do in building a home in terms of the quality and the standard, and you're taking a vision and you build it. I do that with bodies.
Hmm.
I do that with people and getting them to believe that their body is the most important thing, because at the end of the day, we have people that spend so much money on cars and homes and all this other stuff, but the one thing that is irreplaceable is your health and your body. It is the most important thing, but we take it for granted. We take it for granted, and I watch it and I see, and people are be like, "Oh, you're a health fanatic." No, I'm a body fanatic. Just, if you're gonna live life, why wouldn't you want to be healthy?
Mm-hmm.
You spend so much time on your lawn, on your house, on your car. You mean to tell me you can't spend time on the one thing that's irreplaceable, and that's your health? And everyone will make an excuse about it. And again, part of my superpower is getting them to understand this and then showing them that you can do this. It's about prioritizing. And if you can prioritize on this, on the physical, in most cases, and you know this, you focus on your health, the ripple effect of things that happen when you start to get the synergy of your body and your mind working in a healthy progression moving forward. It's life changing.
Dude.
That's my purpose. That's what I do. And I know it's so simple. It's not rocket science. You know, I've had this limiting belief sometimes because, you know, here I take you for example. Like, I look up to you. What you know about a home and construction, and just think about everything that your knowledge, you personally, what you have up here. You have so much information in your brain, so much. That would be Chinese arithmetic to me, right? And I know you, everyone says this, like, I know, and I'm not trying to dumb myself down by any means at all. I know what I know.
Mm-hmm.
I started the beginning of this call off saying I'm a pretty simple dude. I am. I am simple. I know fitness. I know that if you move your body and we put good stuff in it, and I'm talking about the most remedial, breaking this down. You can go do the hokey pokey for 45 minutes. I don't care. Move your ass, right? And just watch what you eat. And I promise you, your body will start to progress the way that you want. The simplicity of that left foot, right foot, and just getting your body into motion. Anyone can do it. I could speak to anyone. I can speak anyone's language. I could help anyone in any part of the world. That's what I'm here to do, man.
I want to go full circle, but I'm going to take you back to go full circle to where we are and what you just said about purpose. And it's crazy because you probably didn't catch this last night, but I caught it and I wrote it down. You said you felt I can't say it word for word, but you said you felt like you lost your identity after losing LA Fitness.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Talk about that a little bit because I'm kind of going backwards and move forwards here. Because I think what you just said, and we'll get into that a little bit after. I want you to explain. You brought that up last night, and I caught that last night. And you losing your it was a huge line that you said, so I wrote it down right after you said it. Because I wanted to hear about it and talk about it today. And I really think this is going to go somewhere with what you just said, actually, with your purpose today and fitness today, too. But let's go back to the LA Fitness days. Having that feeling that you lost your identity after that. Talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, 2019, everyone thought, I remember everyone like, oh, you're killing it. You're doing this, you're doing that. And I was probably in the worst mental space in 2019, pre-pandemic, going into the pandemic. I was mental. I was a wreck. I mean, just think about the practicality of this. I did that for almost 21 years.
Mm,
And it was ground, you know, how Eric posted Groundhog's Day the other day? It was Groundhog's Day. It was the same thing every day. It was very institutionalized. And just look at my track record. I go from the Marine Corps institutionalized, into prison institutionalized, into LA Fitness
mm,
institutionalized. Now, it was the same thing. There were systems and process, and because the play was so simple, I did it every day. You do something every single day, and then you stop doing it. It's you lose it. There's so many things that happen mentally. Did I make the right decision? The self-talk, you know, what did I do? You know, um, limiting beliefs, you know, because now I had to do everything on my own and I didn't have the organization to lean back on for the answers, right? I always had a support team around me. I was a VP. Like if I needed anything, I could call and make it happen. I needed something fixed, I could call, I could make it happen. So one other thing that happened was I didn't have those resources. And now I'm a guy who, if I need something, I pick up the phone, I call someone, and it happens because I had the power in the pocketbook of the organization. Now I don't have that, and now I want to make things happen, and I'm like, well, I got to do this, and I got to actually have contractors come out, and I got to see these contractors on a bid, and I got to get estimates, and I got to ask questions and relevance, and how much is this going to cost? Like it was a whirlwind of things that were happening, but I wasn't doing the one thing that I loved. And what I missed the most, where I really lost my identity, was the building of people.
mm,
Like every day, that's what I did. I built people. I was building my team. It was whether it was my sales team or my ops team, my PT team. Like I was always in the moment of a coach, right? And you know, I talked to you about this one, you know, before I started coaching, you know, because I had that identity of like that imposter syndrome, like, wow, who am I to coach people? Right. You know, because we've seen in our industry, you know, in our network, you know, people that should not be coaching and they're saying they're a coach. But the reality of it was, and I remember having this conversation with you, I've been coaching people for 25 years, literally coaching
mm,
young men and women to be better versions of themselves, to create systems, to create process, to create a lifestyle, to work on their physical, the mental, the spiritual, their financial. I've literally been doing that with every single one of my salespeople for 20 years. And when I stopped doing that, I was a fish out of water. And that was the part that I missed, of the pouring into people. Right. And I didn't have my network, because my network was LA Fitness. Like I was somebody. I
mm,
was somebody in the organization. And then when you stop being somebody, there's that loss too. And it messes with your head. It messes with you in every single way, shape, or form. I don't care how strong of a person you are mentally. You know, I had a conversation with a baseball player. He was a professional baseball player, and he told me this is very much the same what happens with professional athletes when they stop playing ball or they retire.
mm.
They don't know what to do,
Yeah.
right? Guys in the military, we see this happen all of the time, right? They 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 stopped doing what they were doing, and now what do I do? That was all I knew. And this is usually where people fall, and they fall off, and they were like, oh man, what happened to him? And man, I know this sounds crazy, but thank God for the pandemic. Um, the pandemic did hurt a lot of people, and I don't want to take that away from anyone who suffered a loss or had to deal with any of the nonsense that went with everything. But that was a time where Jan and I, we put our blinders on and we got to work. We started, you know, really monitoring uh, the relationships in our life, the people that we were talking to, what we were doing, how we were operating, and we just went to work, Bill. We went to work, and that was the first year. We hit some milestones financially, and then we built off it the next year, and we built off it the next year, and now it's just now I'm back into that flow of understanding my purpose. And my purpose in the beginning when I left, even though I thought I lost my identity, the reality of it was is all of that years in training set me up once I when been able to get my head to wrap around all of what I've learned I could put into any business. So we did it with just aesthetic nursing. We did it with Trifecta. We're doing it with Bright State. And now I know my purpose was to touch these three people's lives with my wife, with Dave, and with Tony, and to serve them and to get them to where they need to be. Because all three companies will be 7-figure a year companies.
Mm.
And once that's served, I feel, and this is kind of where my thoughts have been going the past 2-3 weeks. Once the mission has been completed to get these three organizations where they need to be, that has given me the firm foundation for me to get back into fitness and to just get back to the thing that got me here, the thing that built me, the thing that made me, the thing I fell in love with, the thing that I embrace, the thing that I get fired up about, the thing that's not work to me. Like being in the gym is not work to me at all, at all. And I look at it because of where we're at now spiritually. And this was all part of a plan.
Mm.
It was all part of a plan. And I didn't know when I was going through it the past 3-4 years. It's just been a lot of just what am I doing in purpose? Like I've been pounding the stone so hard. And then within the past 2 months, it's really come to life. And I think what has not I think, I know what has helped me bring this vision and purpose to life was falling back on my faith, trusting God, and just listening to what these we talk about the whispers and these things. Um, it set me up to get me right back to what I need to do, and I couldn't be more excited right now. Just about life, about everything, about just purpose and helping and building and understanding that the track work that I've done for the past 4.5 to 5 years is leading me right to here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to change some more lives for sure. We're going to change people's lives with their faith. We're going to change people's lives with their health, with their mindset, financially. I want to make out of Bright State. I want to create by the end of next year, I want to have 25 people making multiple 6 figures a year. And I want to change their lives. I want to show them now how you pay that forward and let the ripple effect continue to go as we just, because this is what's needed right now. It needs forward thinking and it needs guys that, thank God I have the financial stability to be able to pour into these guys and do it the right way. And it's just full circle, man. It's just coming right back to the thing that got me to where I am today. And that's fitness. It's always been fitness. It's kind of like you ever see the movie where the guy has this relationship with the girl and they're kind of close over time, and at the end of the story it shows they end up hooking up, and it's like you always knew, Like, why weren't they together from the beginning? Right? We've seen that love story.
Mm.
We've seen it. We've seen it. We've seen it multiple times, and it's just like, why didn't I go right there? But the reality of it is God put me in people's lives to help change them, to create a ripple effect that goes out to their lives, and they can start changing. And the same thing with my partner Tony, and we're going to change other lives. All of that happened for me to get right back with the girl I love, which is fitness. Proverbial, right?
And Jan, of course.
And Jan, of course, right? And Natalie. But that's it, man. It's just it's good. It's good. I know it's not going to be easy. I know what the fight is, and the job. I can't get Kobe out of my head, man. Job's not done.
Mm.
Job's not done. We got work to do.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen when I asked that last question. Because hearing you, the journey today, going back to that crucial part of your life that took you to where you are today, it's always full circle. But obviously, it's climbing the mountain, man. It's the road it's a hard road. I mean, you can take the easy road, you can take the hard road. The hard road always leads you to where you are today, and you're still going, you're still climbing the hard road. It's never going to be easy, right? I got that whole situation tattooed on my arm with a cross leading the way. And it's just crazy in life how these things, like, you said that you always have that one thing that you're so used to doing. Mine was football. I played football my whole entire life. After college, getting hurt, I was like, what's next? What am I going to do? I went back and was a laborer for my dad, got tired of that, and then went into the car business because I thought I was good at sales, and it ended up I was pretty good at sales. And that led me to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And it was like, it's just that pathway that you travel that God gives you. It's just, you just don't really notice it until you get to a certain point and you're like, wow, you put me through all that hell for, I get it now, right? And it's like with you, that's exactly what happened. I mean, LA Fitness was, it was your baby. It was what you were used to. Well, it's what you thought you were destined to do, but it wasn't. It was just a stepping stone into getting you to where you are today, to get back to running your own fitness businesses and stuff after, and you just said that that's the next step. You want to get these businesses that you have now up and running, 7 figures, good to go. And then you're going right back to the baby, what you love, the passion.
Yeah, yeah. I have this belief of paying it forward, right? Um, and even that opening statement, if you truly want to, be successful, you got to be willing to do things for other people. And with fitness, you know what I even thought about, and this is just you and me chopping it up right now. Going to church. I started going to church, Jan and I told you heard the whole story with Natalie and Brian getting, us into the habit of going to church, and we haven't missed a week yet. Like Jan even woke me up this Sunday and was like, "Hey, we going to church?" Like, it was great. Like this is all new positive things. But I'm sitting there and I'm at church, and this is like, we're thinking about purpose, we're thinking about changing lives, and I'm sitting there, and I know this is good and bad. But it's my fitness eye. I just want you to see things. I see things with the fitness lens. How you look at buildings, and you can see the difference in buildings and the all of that. I see fitness, right? I see people's health, right? And I'm sitting here in church, and I'm watching, and I'm like, these people need some fitness in their life. They need some fitness in their life. And I have this idea where I want to go to church, and I want to be this guy at church that's going to teach the whole congregation like how to take control of their life.
There you
Like, talk about purpose. Like, I'm sitting in where, and purpose has been, a very strong vibration in conversation in our group right now. Talking about last week, we were talking about expanding capacity. This week, we're talking about purpose, like understanding your purpose before you can expand the capacity. But how great would that be to go into church get with the lead pastor and just be like, listen, let me take this battle on with you. Let me show you what I can do. I've been here somehow, some way. God put me right here, and you have this tool in your toolbox that you don't even know, Pastor. Let me show you how to use this tool, which is Brad Modrich, and we'll get the whole congregation fit. Like, we will make some bodies move, which
Awesome.
will in turn get their thought process to change differently. We get their mind and body going. You got a congregation that's feeling good, doing good, putting the work in, all base with the epicenter that they believe in God. Like, this is all just coming in the past like 3-4 weeks, bro. And it's great. It's just great. It's just great, man. And I can't keep leaning on it. This would not be happening if I did not have the Warriors for Christ. I am a firm believer I would not be this far in my journey, mentally and spiritually, if I didn't have my brothers in the Warriors. I mean that. That's not just not topical bullshit. Like, that is, you men make me better. Every single one of you.
Everybody in that group, man. That it really
Everybody.
is. It's everybody in that group. And you know what I'm going to say to that whole thing that you just said about leading the church in that aspect? That's God putting in your head, and you should do it. That's him
Right.
telling you he wants you to do it. So go
Yeah.
do it. Yeah.
Yes.
Don't think about it. Go do it
Right.
because
And I've been
that's
thinking about it. So this is the funny thing. Like, we talk about these whispers, and you know how some people say, God had me say this, and God spoke to me. I still haven't had the excuse me, Brad. This is God talking.
I
You need
haven't
to listen to
either.
me. Yeah, I haven't had that. But the more these thoughts are popping into my head, I think this is just it's the calling to be able to answer these, or at least, and this is what I teach all my salespeople, when you have that thought, start the conversation to see where it goes. When you have the thought of wanting to go prospect or go do something or go talk to a lead or a sale, just take the action and go have the conversation. You never know what's going to happen. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, bro, you got to practice what you preach. Like, you've had this thought, this is going on 3 weeks in a row. You're looking at this congregation that they need health. We're getting into the summer. Like, now's the opportunity. So this Sunday after church, I will be stepping up to the lead pastor.
There you go.
I am going to be finding out what I could do to help serve. Yeah.
A book. When I was talking to Eric Hines, I recommend you. I don't know if you've read it yet. The God I Never Knew. Get
Oh
that
no.
book. Yeah, get that book. It's about exactly what you were talking about, hearing him clear, learning how to hear the Holy Spirit. Eric's reading it right now. He hasn't been able to put it down. That book changed my life, changed Liz's life too. I actually
Mm,
got it as a recommendation from my pastor, so highly recommend
done
that
deal.
book, The God I Never Knew. I'll text it to you after.
Yep.
Because that voice, that thing that's telling you to do that is that's him clearly going, "Dude, Brad." So you don't realize it because you're like, is that me saying that or is that him? And this is a whole nother topic of discussion, but it is him to you, and I highly recommend you do it because that's going to lead to other pathways that he's trying to present to you too. And that's what I wanted to ask you too. Your walk with faith. I mean, this podcast seems to be getting more and more faith driven. So for the listener out there, just that's what you're going to have to expect moving forward. But with your walk, Brad, with faith, I've asked people to define God. I've asked people to on the show to give their definition of him. I'm kind of curious to what yours is. Um, who is God? Talking about this because through your life with the Marine Corps, prison, the times that the downfalls of business and the uprising of business and God, we talked about that whole full circle pathway. How's God helped you? Because I know you're new in your journey, but there's a lot of other people that are new in the journey too. Who is God to you?
Man, that is such a, I never thought about this. That is a thought influencer. That just makes you think, who is God, right? Who is God? Who is God to me? Um, God is this understanding of what is right, what is good, what is pure, what is love, what is forgiveness. Um, it's a constant positive, reinforced feeling and understanding and support. Like, there's so many things that go into this. Like, I feel safe. It's this person that gives us understanding. It's this thing that, I even hate to use the word thing. It's this overwhelming understanding and feeling of this being, this body that is always there for you, good and bad. And that if you can rely on that relationship with this guy, with this person, he's a guy to me, this guy, God. Um, and this was a hard part. So this has changed over the years, because God in the beginning, I was raised Catholic. I was a freaking altar boy. Um, God was this being in the sky that if you did wrong, he's going to strike you down. Catholicism, from my understanding as a kid, right? I used to have nuns that would crack us over the knuckles if we did something wrong. And I'm just like, how you believe in God? You're cracking me over my knuckles? Are you kidding me? Because I wasn't holding the pencil right. Like, really? Like, I remember in first grade, they changed me from, I was a lefty. Natalie's a lefty. Like, we're left geared. Um, they changed me to right. And because I couldn't use my right hand, right? I couldn't, they were like, you got to use your right hand. And I just remember Sister Loretta. I'll never forget this, cracking this. So anyway, in Catholicism, there was this big bearded man, this vision of God, of what we see in the books. Um, but that's changed. Obviously there's this vision of Jesus Christ that comes into play now, just because I'm learning more about him and who this person was, and understanding that um, God is just this. He's just this magnificent guy. I mean, that's I have to I have to put like a being around him,
Mm.
right? Like a physical being. And if he's the guy that knows everything about me, he's the guy I can't lie about, I can't hide from. He knows what I'm thinking before I'm thinking it. I can't bullshit him, right? I can't. There's no denying it. I it's a person. It's the only person that I could be truly truthful with
Mm.
and have no restrictions on the conversation or the feel, because it's right there in my thoughts talking it down. And he's this guy that has kept me out of harm's way. And because of that, there's this responsibility of my faith that I have to do more, from overdosed to shot at to trying to get stabbed to shit prison. I remember sitting in a jail cell wanting to fucking hang myself. Um, he's always been there. He's loyal.
Mm.
Yeah, that's who God is to me.
Love it, man. Yeah. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And um, yeah, like there's no ever wrong answer to that. And I think as we grow with him too, the answer continues. It's just a continuous thing too. So Um, Amazing what you said right there too. Um, with that being said, I gotta have you on again because this has been awesome, brother. Yeah,
Count me in.
yeah, it was amazing having you finally on here too, getting you on the real build. I was so pumped to have you on, and yeah, this is gonna help a lot of people. This is gonna benefit a lot of people too. And like I said, I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate you as a friend and our friendship. And um, yeah, man, and I know it's we're both just getting started in this thing we call life, and me with fatherhood, and I'm definitely going to be calling you for many, many pointers along that journey too, because you raised some really good kids. And I got a lot of respect for you in many ways. So appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man. And just so you know, that comes right back. In this crazy network that we're tied into, you are one of the real deal guys, and
Appreciate that.
I can't even. You're just fucking real, bro. And I love our friendship. I love our brotherhood. I love watching everything that's happening in your life, with your son, with Elizabeth, and just I I can't wait to see this journey unfold. Like, it's really exciting. And I told you this on, in WFC. I love watching you guys with your children because um I didn't have this mindset when Natalie and Brian were young. And I get excited just thinking about what kids you guys are going to produce. Like, you guys are going to produce like superhumans, right? Like, it's crazy. Like, I get to witness this. I get to witness your son grow up and just watch this and just think about this, right? I'm going to be 49 this year. By the time I'm almost 70, he's going to be 20. I'm going to be 70, sitting in this amazing home that you built me on the water, being able to watch your kids. Like, this is going to be great. Like, this is the vision. We talk about vision and having this vision. This is what I see, and I can't. Bro, I just can't. I love doing life with you, bro, and I love you, man. So
Yeah,
thank you.
right back at you, man. It is crazy. Like, and being able to raise my son the way I am, it's because of people like yourself. It's because of people like you who are in Warriors for Christ and those examples of good men, the people like, our friend Brian Hess and
Mhm.
that I've gotten to know really well. And these friendships that I've grown throughout communities and a lot of it all stemmed from Arte too. And that's where we all kind of got started and it's just the beginning. It's just crazy to think about, like, you know, we're all young. I mean, it's like we're all still just getting
Yeah.
started at this. And I was talking to somebody about it the other day. I mean, you look at people like Warren Buffett. I mean, and just how you want to say Warren Buffett's old, but that guy's still rolling, man. He's just, he's still going, and age ain't a thing to him, and it's just crazy to think about just the journey. And I give it a lot of like I give a lot of respect to you because I can see you with your kids and how they've become too, and you standing out as a father and your daughter getting baptized and your son in the group and just it's because you walk the walk. You don't just talk the talk. You actually do what you say you're going to do. And that's why we're talking about being real. Um, that's who I like to be around, is put myself around people that are real because we see through the fakeness, man. We see through the people that are just in it for the money and the clout on Instagram and just to try and get followers and just make money out of it. And a lot of people get trapped with that kind of stuff too. And that just that grinds me more than anything seeing those type of people out there. But it's people like yourself that are going to, you know, go ahead of those people and make people realize there are good people out there too in this world. and there's a lot of us out there, and like that's where Warriors for Christ comes. So anybody that's listening to this too, reach out to Brad, reach out to myself. Um, we'll give you information on Warriors for Christ, and it's just a lot of great people in one group that are just trying to do great things together too, and honor God along the way.
Yeah. I was thinking last night after you shot me the text for today, right? I started doing my night routine and I really started to think about what the Warriors for Christ represent. And I know, to your listeners, I know we talked a lot about Warriors for Christ, but this is it's a really I couldn't stop thinking about how special it is. Like from Anthony to Chris Arsberger, Eric, Jonathan, Ray, like everyone, Eric Hines, like every single one of those men in the group are just good people
Yeah.
that are doing good work. Like it's the simplest way to say it. Like I've never experienced anything like it. Yeah. We got something special, bro. And we are going to grow. We're going to build it and we're going to do this together, side by side, left foot,
Yeah.
right foot.
For sure, man. Before we go, wrapping this up, where can people connect with Brad Modrich?
It's Brad Modrich on all platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You could visit www.bradmodrich.com. Just Google Brad Modrich and everything comes up. Yeah, everything's just my name, first, last name, BradModrich.
Keeping it easy. I love it. With that
Simple.
being, appreciate you, brother. This is awesome. You're definitely coming on again in the future too. So I can't say that enough how much I appreciate you. And with that being said, everybody listening, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Once again, share this episode because it needs to definitely be shared. It'll go a long way as well. 5-star reviews only. You guys know the routine. Appreciate you, each and every one of you guys, and I will see you guys on the next episode.